Yo, yo, yo. Hey, guys, welcome back to another awesome edition of the Best Practices Show podcast. My name is Kirk Barron. I'm having so much fun. So thank you guys for listening and tuning in. And we'll keep bringing it from some of the best minds in all of dentistry on all subjects to help you create a better practice and a better life. And today we bring back one of our favorite guests, Allison Lecoussier. She's a rock star in marketing. And today we talk about video confidence, how you get started, and why it's so important on the web and social media. So she gives you some great practical tips on what you can do and how you can make it happen and change your digital reputation in a positive way. So make sure you guys check it out. I know you'll enjoy it. And we'll see you soon. Hey guys, welcome back to the Best Practices Show podcast. I am so pumped that you keep showing up here, because if you keep showing up, I'll keep bringing it with rock stars in dentistry. And we got another very popular returning guest who is truly becoming a rock star in the world of marketing and other things, Allison Lecoussier. Look at that. I said it right, didn't I? I got it right.
You crushed it.
Oh, thank you. So you guys are going to love this. And one of the things we're going to be talking about is marketing, and most specifically, why you have to be confident on video for social media. So Allison, thanks for being on. I appreciate you.
Oh my gosh, it's such a pleasure. I always love coming onto your show. I feel like our conversations are so awesome, and I can't wait for today's topic.
It's awesome because a lot of the stuff that you teach, I have no idea how it works, and it's so great. And congratulations to you. You just finished your first Chicago, that you were there for the midwinter, and you got asked back. And I have no doubt that you're going to be back again and again and again. So congratulations. But I want to start here. If people haven't heard of you or they don't know what you do, let's tell them who Allison Lecoussier is.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. So I grew up in dentistry. I was a dental assistant, a treatment coordinator, an office manager. Now I'm a professional coach, professional speaker, and I own a company called Clear Coaching and a marketing agency called Clearly IG. And so I spend my days coaching practices, doctors, team members on confidence, on treatment conversion, clear aligners, how to be a successful high performer. And then we also run a marketing agency for dental practices, dental entrepreneurs, all of the dental conferences, to help them become authentic and known on social media.
Yeah, it's awesome. And today we're going to be talking specifically about video confidence, which I want to open that up. I mean, one of the things that you have to do in order to create some credibility anywhere on the internet is you have to do video. I can speak firsthand. I mean, I don't know that we're confident or smart about it, but it works. It's crazy how video works. Give us the why. Like, where are we on the map when it comes to video, and why is this topic so important to dentists?
Oh my gosh, yes. So if you were to even just do a quick Google search right now and look at the statistics of the video content on the internet and how it is viewed, how it's engaged, the conversion from it, you will see that it is outperforming any other post, any other photo that is on the internet today. And it continues to rise. And so you see video platforms that prioritize the video content like Instagram and TikTok, they continue to grow and grow and grow. And that is what our consumers are actually getting used to in order to be educated. And so when we think about video content, it's actually becoming the norm for how people are interpreting, understanding, and learning about anything on the internet. And so for a dental practice who, we're business owners, we want to make sure that we're representing ourselves well in an authentic way and helping people capture their attention to understand who we are faster. And if we're not using video content, we're becoming irrelevant.
Yeah. And so many years ago, this little company called YouTube was purchased by Google. And this is way back when. So I'm really dating myself by even saying this, but it used to be the number 2 search engine in the world. Is that still true on video?
For YouTube, is YouTube the most number 1 search video platform?
I don't know. Is it the number 2 way people search for anything? I have no idea. So I'm just asking. I guess the reason I'm asking is like, you're exactly right. When I need to know something, I will often YouTube, how do I do XYZ? And you're like, wow, there's like 7 things on here. Most notably Google Sheets or website programming, or I even Googled how to really tie a real tie because I forgot how to do that, there's so much video, helpful video on how to do almost anything.
Yes, 100%. And it is ranking, it has an 80% higher conversion than anything else on the internet. And so if we think about that, if we want the best website, if we want the best, SEO, if we want the best of anything for our own business, we have to use video to be competitive.
Yeah. So let's talk about some of those things. When you say, video confidence, you mentioned like treatment acceptance and conversion. How does that play a role when you're talking about video confidence?
Yes. And this is a question that a lot of doctors ask me when we start digging into their strategy on social media. And when we're selling anything, and I know in dentistry, we never like to say that we're selling, we're educators, we're educating our patients. But the reality is, when we're selling something, it really is just helping somebody make a decision to say yes. And so really it is still sales. As much as we don't like to admit it, we're still selling in dentistry. And so when we're selling anything, there is about 7 to 8 touch points for somebody to say yes. And one of those touch points can be even before the patient gets into the practice.
Right.
And so when you have a video of the doctor or of a team member, of a trusted person explaining, the consequences, the risk, why something is necessary, even just explaining orthodontic procedures, it helps the patients have that one touch point already to say yes. And so when they come into the practice, already they know you, they like you, and they've started to trust you, which is one of the ways that patients will say yes to whatever you're telling them that they need for their overall health. And so when we have a video out there on our platform that helps somebody actually get familiar with your face, your facial expressions, the way that you're talking, it increases the likelihood that that patient will start to trust you and know you. And when they meet you in real life, they've already completed that one touch point to sale. And then the second thing is familiarity allows people to trust you more. So they've already, even though not consciously, they're like, oh, you're familiar to me, but subconsciously, you're familiar to them. So their anxiety decreases and they feel more comfortable when they get into the practice.
Yeah, there's a local news guy. His name's Ted. Whenever I see him in the coffee house, I'm like, "There's Ted," and he's like, "I'm a news guy," and I become buddies with him, and I feel like I'm special because he like knows my name now. It's pretty cool. And so, a couple things on the video. When you see people doing this, it's so crazy important because I'll say it as a consumer side of things. I ask people all the time when they give me some type of stat or fact, I go, where did you learn that? And they're like, I saw it on YouTube. I'm like, oh, so you're crediting YouTube as the source now of like legitimate information. And I don't know if there's anything we can do about that. That's one piece. And the second piece, can you speak to this? When we started doing video, we were like, oh, we got to get this right. And so Chris Savage, who was the, CEO of Wisty at the time, he's like, no, start crappy. Do the crappiest video ever. Would you agree with that? Like sometimes you just got to get started on video.
Oh my gosh. 100%. I can tell you that the first video that I ever filmed was terrible. But guess what? People still watched it and they still liked it. And when I look back on that video, I'm like, holy smokes, I have gotten so much better at this. And all it's taken is practice. So a lot of times my docs are like, I am too afraid, or this is so uncomfortable. It's kind of like listening to your own voice on the phone. But as soon as you start doing it again and again, you become better at it. You become more confident. And that is 100% what I would suggest is be the best beginner there ever was. Be the best beginner at creating video and you will become great.
Yeah. And you don't have to we could do a whole podcast episode on videos you could create. Like just sit down on any procedure that you do. What is an all-on-4? What is a crown? Like what is Invisalign? How does it work? You could literally we could come up with 100 right now where you as a dentist or anyone in your office, well, preferably the dentist, is just talking about the procedure alone. And I want to move to number 2 because that's the fun one, is the millennial audience. Now, I have a tough one with this because I have kids in their 20s, but I know this is so important. Why is that a crucial piece of video confidence?
Well, when we think about the millennial audience, that millennial cohort is the largest cohort of purchasers and decision makers that is coming in to our world. Like they are our consumers. And so we have to talk to them in the language that they understand. And oftentimes now, if we don't have video content, if we don't have a social media presence, if our millennials can't connect to us in the way that makes sense to them, then we feel or we seem outdated to them. And so this is something that, you just talked about when people go on YouTube, that's kind of their source of credibility. There's a lot of misinformation on the internet about dentistry. There's a lot of bad information. There are a lot of people out there scamming our patients on the internet because they're putting things out there. They're making social media content, they're creating videos. And so my hope and wish is that great clinicians and providers will also create videos, will also educate their patients so that our millennial consumer can have that true and real information that combats all the rest of the noise and the misinformation out there. And so when you think about it, it's usually not the dentist that wants to be creating these videos because they're busy doing dentistry. But
Right.
if we don't have our great clinicians that are offering this quality care and taking true care of our patients, then we're only having the misinformation out there. And so it's almost like we have to fight back as, clinicians, as dental professionals by creating educational content that our millennial audience understands and relates to in their language so that we can help create that lack of misinformation in dentistry and about dentistry today.
Yeah, I think the key piece, you said a lot of great things there, is the language piece of it. So my 15-year-old son, I'm pretty sure he's created more videos than I ever have at the age of it. That's how they communicate, whether it be in Snapchat or just their silly little things. And you can see they communicate in videos all day long, so that's crazy important. Now let's move on to digital reputation. Can you explain, first of all, you're going to have to define that. What the heck is digital reputation and why is it so important?
So, in our digital and modern world, this is how we learn about people, we learn about businesses, we learn about experiences is on our digital platforms. And so, when we're looking to make a decision, let's say somebody has recommended your dental practice to go to. The next thing a millennial audience is going to do is look you up online. And when they see you online, they're going to notice what your website looks like, if you have a YouTube channel, if you have an Instagram, a Facebook, what your photos look like. And your digital reputation is the way that you represent yourself on everything online. And I know amazing clinicians who I would trust my mom to go to, who, if I look them up online, I'm like, I wouldn't know that about them. I wouldn't
Right.
know that they're a great clinician. And so it's taking from being unknown in your values, in your excellence, in your professionalism internally to be externally known in your digital reputation. And it's more important than ever, and it's not going away. And so I always like to say this is like, just Google yourself right now. Just search everything that you can find about your practice, about you as a clinician online. And if there's anything that you'd want to change, then I'd go ahead and change it because you have other people looking at this right now.
Right. So I have a question for you. When it comes to video, if I'm doing this for the first time, am I going to try to be human or smart? You know what I mean? Like what would be your coaching on this? Like, do I want to be more authentic, like Michael Scott Office? I mean, you don't want to be that crazy, but like just be honest, or am I going to try to get this from a competence, excellence standpoint? What would you say?
Honestly, it depends on the platform. If this is the video that's going to be popping up immediately on your website, then it needs to be a bit more polished. You don't want it to be low quality. You want it to look really professional and nice, for sure. But if you're on social media or if you are, on any of those platforms that it really is about authenticity, then show up as yourself.
Yeah.
And what I always say is just remind yourself that you know your stuff. If you are a dentist and you are explaining a crown or explaining your practice or explaining why you love dentistry, this stuff is so known to you, you don't even have to think about it. So I would say that's my first step for the confidence is trust that you know what you're talking about because you do. In fact, you probably talk about it 100 times a day. And so just trust that element. Like, you know your stuff, you know what you're talking about. You do it all the time.
Yeah. Now you brought up web and social. So when I'm creating video, am I going to want to start web and then share social? Like, is there any methodology or plan behind that?
Okay, so here is one of my favorite, it's kind of a hack. And the hack really is to help you save time, is film a longer video. Film, let's say a 30-minute video where you're explaining
Wait,
multiple
hold on,
things.
Allison. 1 second. I'm just going to timestamp that. So I'll go back and ask you that question, but somehow it switched off of your microphone. Do you know what happened?
I don't. Can you still?
Yeah. See if you can switch. There should be little gears right there. There's a gear on the right-hand side, and see if you can switch that to your microphone again.
Is that better?
Oh my gosh, so much better. So it went from super high quality to it sounded like I was losing you. So I'll have them trim 1356 on. So I'm going to go back to that question. So cool. So I'm going to go back and ask you, what was my question? Oh, web versus social. Okay, ready?
Perfect.
Sorry about that. So,
No
all right,
worries.
cool. So, okay, I got a question. So when you're talking about, you just used the magic word, you said web, and then we were also talking about social. So what about, like, if I'm doing this for the first time, am I trying to put the video on the web and then share it social? What's my ultimate strategy, or where do I even start?
Okay, I want to give you like a hack or a tool. If you're just starting out, this is one of my favorite ways to do it because it helps you save time and you can repurpose your content across multiple different channels. And so the goal would be to take a higher quality video. You can use your MacBook camera, you can use a camera on your computer and film as much as you possibly can. And then chop that up and put it wherever you have a presence. And, that's another whole conversation we can have about what presence should I have. But let's say you have a YouTube channel. Use that longer video on your YouTube channel and then chop up the little pieces and use it for your Instagram. So repurpose your video content as much as you can. And then even in that, you can take quotes, you can take clips, you can take certain segments, and you can actually put that into a little writing and put that onto your social as well as a quote from you. So repurpose your content as much as you can, as much as you are starting out. You want to make this time valuable.
Yeah, that's so true. It is funny though, because any homework that you do on somebody, you're always searching certain terms on Google. And, you often skip over the text. Oh, there's a video on so-and-so. I'm going to watch a little clip of the video. So I know what you're saying is right, and I do think it's crazy important just to start on that journey on that. Anything else you'd say about digital reputation? What are some other things that come up when it comes to the reputation of an office or a person in dentistry when it comes to video?
Yeah, I would say get really intentional about it. Like as a coach, I love to talk about the values of an organization, the things that matter the most to you. And when you can film videos intentionally talking about these things that really, really matter to you, the more people will get to know you before you come into the practice or before they even decide to book with you. And so what you really want is to decide, internally, who are we? What do we do? What makes us different? And film videos on those topics. And so whenever I'm coaching a practice, we write out the values and then we create video examples about each of those values. So let's say a value was service. Amazing. What are some video examples that we could film around service? And that might be capturing somebody walking an elderly patient out to the car. It might be a home visit that you're doing, but it's just evidence that this is your value and we live it. And so you can be so intentional about that, and people get to know you even before they meet you. And something that I find is really cool, I have people come up to me at different events or at, conferences, and they're like, "Oh my gosh, I know this about you. I know this about you." And I was so intentional about creating that online so that people could really get to know me before they know me.
Yeah, I think that's a home run on what you just said, because your favorite people ultimately care about the things that you care about. So spend your time creating video or content around the things that you care about. You don't have to overthink it, because the same people, those people will see that you care about it and they'll go, "Oh, I like these people," and they must care about the same things. I think you have to be authentic about it as much as possible, but that's a great place to start. If you have core values, that's an awesome place to start. All roads end with, begin and end with core values. So like find a way to bring those to life. That is fantastic. Now, coach me like I'm just getting started. Okay, like Allison, I don't have any confidence. Okay, so like where do I start? I shot 10 of these videos and I deleted them all. So where do we start down the road of more confidence?
Okay. I love this question so much. And I want you to know that if you are starting video and you do feel unconfident, that is okay. Most people start there. So similar to what you started with, just be the best beginner there ever was. And so the first thing you need to know is that no one is going to be as critical about you as yourself.
Right.
And so just make a promise and a pact to yourself that you're not going to criticize your appearance. You're not going to notice that your left eye is a little bigger than the right, that maybe, your right ear is a little bit lower than your left. Like no one will notice that. And in fact, the fact that you notice that, it's okay, but no one is going to criticize these things about you. So first and foremost, just leave that aside. Don't become perfectionistic-y about your appearance.
Yeah. I hate the sound of my, like it's when I'm like, ugh. And then now I'm super self-conscious that I have one eye bigger than the other or a deviated septum or all those things. But you're exactly right. Like you just got to show up and just be yourself more than anything. Because that
100%. And the second thing is, this is not about you. This is about the people that you're meant to serve.
Yeah.
And so as soon as you can switch the focus from me to all of the people that might need to hear my message or might be helped by hearing my message or might come to my dental practice because I'm a great dentist. Sorry, I'm like losing my voice a little. It's about them.
Right.
It's 100% about them. It's not about you. And so just think about the one person. If only one person watches this video and makes a decision to be healthier because of it, then your work here is done.
Yeah. And would you agree with the statement too? I've been doing a lot of research on this and there's fantastic, information out there now. Like don't get overwhelmed in trying to sell things. Just spend a lifetime trying to be helpful to anybody. It's not like, oh, I'll give you the answer. I'll help you if you schedule an appointment with us. I think one of the things that you can easily do is just know everything we do, we're going to be super helpful with it. And what that really does is it creates great trust, makes you feel great about it, but then it also creates even more trust. Would you agree with that?
100%. And the reality is, if we're in dentistry, we care about helping people. And so ground yourself into that. Like just align yourself to that. Like I'm here to help more people. That really is what marketing is. How do we help more people? How do more people get to know about us? And when you can really sit into that intention before you film, that's when you're going to feel less, self-conscious and uncomfortable.
Okay. I'm totally picking up what you're putting down. I totally agree that video is important. Let me throw the elephant in the room. Allison, we're already working so hard and my team is spread thin on all the things I've asked them to do. Like, how do I get this done on a daily basis? Any thoughts on that?
What gets scheduled gets done. So if we can schedule this into our marketing strategy for the year, it will get done. And so what I would say is be prepared for the videos that you're going to film ahead of time. Make sure that you wear the clothes that you want, your hair looks the way that you want it to look, and then film as many as you can. So don't try to, get on camera every single day in a different way. Actually, just get ready and film as many as you can. You repurpose them across multiple platforms and schedule it so it will get done.
Yeah, I love that. So we do the same thing. We call it batching, where we'll do it on Wednesdays from this time to this time. We'll usually have 2 or 3 planned. And so we're not shooting like 1 per day type of a thing. That's tough. Get all the equipment out. And then one more thing. What about the sound? Like, I think, is sound important or not so important getting started? What are your thoughts?
So it's so funny because you and I spoke about this just before we got on the podcast.
Yeah.
I got a new mic and I was super excited about it. I would say don't have a lot of background noise. Don't have people like talking in the background. Like you want it to be clear. Right. But again, if you're just starting out, you don't need to go and spend a ton of money on a big microphone, but just make sure that you're in a quiet place and that it's good quality.
Yeah. That's awesome. What else would you say about being confident? Anything else? Another system I can put in place so at least I feel a little bit more confident. What do you think?
I would say one of my favorite ways to think about, like, a lot of people are like, well, what videos do I create? What do I even talk about? Think about the questions that your patients are asking you on a day-to-day basis and answer those questions on video.
Right.
And those are ways that you're connecting right to your audience, that they're, already asking these questions. So go ahead and answer them on video and put them online.
Yeah, that's awesome. That is awesome. Okay, so I want to talk about a couple of things. You've created an Instagram university, which I've got to get signed up for because I don't even know how that thing works. But what else do you do, and what else would you recommend? If I've tried everything in marketing and I'm just not having a lot of success, where do I start? How do I get involved with what you do? Where do I go?
Yeah, so we help practices from all aspects. So we'll help them with just teaching them how to use Instagram, teaching them how to get on video. I help with the confidence piece, with the coaching, getting them excited, feeling really aligned with what they're saying and their messaging. And then we go all the way up to doing it all for them. So like you said, a lot of practices, I know they don't have a lot of time. And so we actually run their socials for them. So if you have any questions about your social media presence, we're so happy to do an audit to check and see what might be going well for you and what you could improve.
Yeah, because the social thing's not going away and video's not going away, right? So I think it's probably a good investment of our time and energy in the future.
100%. And it's something that's worth getting comfortable with. If the reason why you're not on video and social media is because you're not confident, then we can fix that. We can, do some coaching on it. We can get you to feel confident with your messaging, because this is something that really hit me, was that you're the only one as a business owner, as a clinician, that knows what's in your head and your heart, why you're there, why you do what you do. No one else is going to really be able to say it as well as you're going to be able to say it for yourself. As much as marketers love to create messaging, the best one is going to come from your heart and your head and from your voice. And so if you can do that, you're going to be able to connect with people in a different way, in a more powerful way, so that they're ready to start dentistry when they walk into your practice.
Yeah, that's so cool. I love it. And Allison, we're going to have you back again and again and again on all things marketing that you're out there creating value for dentists on. Any last thoughts on how to be more confident on video and social media?
I would say just try it. Start today. If you were listening to this podcast and you're like, wow, this is one of the reasons why I don't get on videos, I don't feel confident. My suggestion is just to go home and film a video, and then film another one tomorrow and another one tomorrow, because it will just help you be that beginner and to get confident with this skill and this tool. Like you said, it's not going away, and we need to connect with our patients where they are, which is on social media, online, and on video.
Totally agree. Allison, you are awesome. So I really appreciate this. Thank you so much for being on today.
Such a pleasure to be here. Thanks so much for having me.
Yeah. Now, one other thing that we're going to do, if you're listening to the podcast and you're not taking notes, don't worry, we're taking notes for you. So if you go up to the show notes or flip up to the show notes, you're going to see links to everything that Allison and I have talked about. Now, you also have, some special incentives, but we're not going to tell you what they are until you go down to the links. But if I go down to the links, I can actually see what you do and then get onto your Instagram university through that.
Yeah, so if you click on the link to the Instagram University, there will be a special promo code for 15% off because you've listened to this podcast. So you'll find that promo code in the comments below.
Yeah, so make sure you guys check it out. And make sure you follow Allison on social media and reach out to her if you're struggling with any of these things. So Allison, thanks for being on. I really appreciate you.
Thanks so much. It was such a pleasure.
Yeah, stick around while I say goodbye to everybody else. But thank you guys for listening to the Best Practices Show podcast. Hey, if you enjoyed today, which I know you did, just do us a favor, hit the share button, share this with your friends and your colleagues, and keep sending us suggestions for things that you guys want to see. You're going to see we've got an amazing lineup set in the next couple weeks and months, and we'll keep producing them as these questions or thoughts or problems come in. We're committed to one thing, creating great information so that you guys can have a better practice and a better life. So I hope you enjoyed it. So until we see you guys next time, or you hear from us next time, keep watching or keep listening to the Best Practices Show. You guys have a good day.